Hi there, it's Nicole here today, and I'm so excited about this new mashup stamp set from Lawn Fawn and Simon Says Stamp, part of Cyber Week 2017 at Simon Says Stamp. This is a mashup of the last 4 years of Stamp Timber stamp sets from Lawn Fawn. So these were exclusive stamp sets that sold out and are no longer made, and they have done a mashup of some of the most popular images from those 4 stamp sets all into one stamp set. And what is so fantastic about this is you can create multiple cards with these images. We're going to start by embossing a frame. This is a frame I've used to emboss cards before, and I just wanted to share it again. It is my favorite frame to do this technique with. So instead of die cutting this rectangle, this is the outside in stitched scalloped rectangle from Lawn Fawn, we are embossing it using the tan embossing pads from Spellbinders and the #1 tab on the Sizzix Big Shot. So this is the original platform. I've changed it to the #1 tab. I've laid down my bottom cutting plate, the 2 tan embossing folders, my paper or my cardstock, the die. I'm going to tape it in place so it doesn't shift, the top cutting plate, and then rolling it through the machine. And instead of die cutting, it is embossing this fabulous frame, or in this case, basically 3 frames, 2 stitched lines plus a scalloped line, and creates this amazing textured background that instantly frames up whatever you stamp inside. So not only am I creating 4 cards, but they are all fairly simple in design, but look amazing. So everything, I'm not using the coordinating dies. I am stamping everything directly into the center of this framed up piece, starting with my bird. So I'm going to show how I stamped everything first, and then I'm going to break it down by card as far as the coloring. I have stamped the birds. This is from the original, I believe, the Friends Forever stamp set. This was from 2014. For the greeting, I didn't cut it apart, but instead am using some Post-it tape to just ink up parts of the word and stamp each individual word separately. So Friends was stamped with Mermaid ink, and Forever was stamped with VersaFine black ink. I love the look of a two-tone greeting like this. And then the little heart from the stamp set, I'm going to stamp a trio of those right above these little birds. This bird stamp set was so popular. I remember 4 years ago it sold out really, really fast. Just so amazing. I love that we're getting to play with these images again. So for the next one, we're going to use the little mouse. This is from I believe 2 years ago. I think this was the Merry Christmas stamp set. And this is going to be, I'm going to stamp the little mouse. Again, a little trio of hearts. And then just like with the Friends Forever stamp set, I am going to divide this up using masking tape to mask off the parts of the greeting I don't want to stamp. I don't want everything to be in the chili pepper ink. So Mary was stamped with chili pepper. Clean that up with my stamp chamois, and then I will mask off the word Mary and ink up Christmas with the VersaFine black ink. And then go ahead and stamp a couple more little hearts here. Super simple, super cute. I'm going to end up having 2 holiday cards and 2 friendship cards from the images and greetings in this stamp set. All very different. You could definitely mix and match these with other stamps that you have on hand already. Lots of great ways to do this. I think that especially the Christmas images here would be really fun to create some maybe coordinating tags with. This stamp set with the dog is going to be the only one that I do a little bit of masking, and that's because there's the Santa hat, which you could use on the Otters if you wanted to. I chose not to, and I chose to make that more of a friendship card, so I didn't use it for them, but I'm going to stamp the hat first. Anything that's going to be on the foreground you want to stamp first, so the hat goes first. I created a mask for that, cut it out, placed it over the original stamped image, and then we're going to take the dachshund and stamp the dog. Once I have the dog stamped, I'm going to need to create another mask, and I don't know what I was thinking. I cut out the entire mask for the dog when all I actually need is the ear, so that I can stamp the scarf, because the rest of the scarf is really going to fit within the dog's body, if that makes sense. So you aren't going to need to mask anything else off really. Now, when I stamped the scarf, I accidentally went over the line of its neck just a little bit. I didn't get it lined up just perfect. I don't know what happened there. However, it was not the end of the world. I did not redo it, because I'm going to add some stripes to the scarf, and that's really going to disguise the mistake very easily. So there's the little scarf, and you can see where it went over the line. I can remove my masks, and there is the dog image wearing a cute little pom-pom Santa hat and a scarf. I did stamp the little bone hanging. It kind of looks like it's hanging down there below the greeting. I think it would have been fun maybe to even draw a little line so it's hanging from one of the letters in the greeting. And I also stamped the little woof sentiment up above. Because this greeting comes in two separate lines, I stamped the first with the VersaFine black ink and the second with Chili Pepper Lawn Fawn ink. And finally, we have the adorable otters from the Christmas Like No Otter stamp set from this year, the 2017 Stamptember stamp set. And I'm going to stamp the otters with bubbles coming up from them. And then I went ahead and took some scissors and cut apart my greeting so that I could have it in two separate lines. And it would fit the design of my card just a little bit better this way. That's going to be stamped with some VersaFine ink. And then I'm going to add a few more bubbles up above the greeting. I felt like it really needed just a little something else up there. Next, I'm going to start my coloring. So first we're going to start with the dog Christmas card. And coloring in the dachshunds takes a little bit of work if you want to do the kind of brown underbelly, the lighter brown, and then the darkish, blackish, almost gray color. I tend to err on the side of caution as far as working up to the color. These are two very different color combinations, and you want to get a nice blend so that you don't have a really sharp line between the two. And so I really worked hard using quite a few different browns and warm grays until I got this just the way I wanted to. The E55 really has enough of the colorless blender in it, I think, that it ends up blending really nicely. You can definitely see the color taking shape. So cute. Once the dog is all colored, we're going to move on to his accessories. So his hat, the scarf, and even the little woof speech bubble and the bone. The hat, the scarf, and the bow are all going to be colored in shades of red with our 24, 46, and 39. The trim on the hat and pom-pom with cool grays 1 and 2. And then the bone with warm gray 0, 0, 1, and 3. I will use the cool grays for the speech bubble as well, just to help give it a little definition and color. I didn't really want to add too much here. And then to help ground the image, I'm going to grab some blue-violet colors and I'm going to add a little shading just down here underneath the dog. In fact, on all 4 cards, I added some grounding or kind of shadow shading images just to help ground those images just a little bit. BV0000 and BV31 for this one. I'm going to go ahead and attach this to a white top fold card base. I did add black to the nose and add some stripes to the scarf with a white pin. And that dresses it up really nicely. A wink of Stella Clear glitter brush pen to the speech bubble, and then a layer of glossy accents. Any little smudges, I like to use the Tombow Mono Eraser to get rid of those. Here's my card base, attaching this panel right to there. This is a single layer basically, other than the fact that it's one separate piece of paper attached to the card base. So a very flat card, but lots going on, and it still has lots of interest and it is a beautiful design. I decided to go ahead and add some little Nuvo crystal drops in Red Berry, Simply White, and Silver Moon Dust to add to the holiday feel, almost like little confetti dots all over and just up here near the top of the image. In fact, all 4 cards are going to feature some Nuvo crystal drops of some kind. They add a lot to the design, I think, and just are really fun, nice little dimensional embellishment. I'm going to set that aside to completely dry, and we'll work on the other Christmas card while we are doing the Christmas theme. This is the Merry Christmas. Again, I'm just going to color in the image or images with some Copic markers using some warm grays for the mouse, with a little R00 for the insides of the ear, and for the cheek on the mouse. He's holding a little present here, which I'm going to color in with reds for the bow, and then just some cool grays for the package. Very, very little there because I want the package to look like it's white with the red ribbon. Adding a little dot detail to add some additional interest to the mouse. And I will also use the red markers to add color to the hearts coming up. And ground the image again, just like I did with the dog, with the blue-violet colors. Add detail to the nose with the black pin. Wink of Stella Clear glitter brush pen on the hearts, and then a layer of glossy accents. I'm going to use the Nuvo crystal drops in the same 3 colors I used for the other holiday card: Red Berry, Simply White, and Silver Moon Dust. I'll attach this to a white top fold card base and again set this aside to dry. Any of the Nuvo crystal drops that maybe have a little bit of a tip to them, I smoothed them out with the tip of a straight pin first. You could tap the back of your paper as well, and that usually helps flatten them out. So there are the 2 Christmas designs. Next, we are going to work on the Friends Forever with the birds design. Now, I did color in the bellies of the birds with Y11. However, I'm going to cover that up. I really didn't like how that yellow looked with the blue markers, and I ended up using YR31 instead of the Y11. And especially as I add in some of the darker blue colors, I think it works a little bit better with the YR21. So YR04 and 9 for the beaks on the birds. The hearts coming up from the 2 birds are going to be in red, yellow, and blue color combinations. This isn't a holiday card, so I went with more bright primary colors. We'll just do a little assortment of colorful hearts. YR31 and YR24 for the yellowish heart, and then a couple of the blues that I used for the birds for the final heart. White dots with a white opaque pen for the cheeks. Again, I'll grab a white top fold card base, pop my little panel in place, and the card would be great as is, but I did add a wink of Stella Clear glitter brush pen to the hearts, glossy accents to the hearts, and then I will take some Nuvo crystal drops again and add a little scattering of bright confetti drops all over, plus ground the images with some warm gray markers. Just add a nice little shadow there underneath. Dandelion yellow, Caribbean ocean, and red berry are the three colors I used for the little crystal drops, very much like the colors I used for coloring in the hearts. I love that you can create little drops in any size you want with these awesome, awesome Nuvo crystal drops. Finally, we'll use or color in the otters using E40, 43, 44, and 47, even a little E49 in a few places. This card, unlike the other three, the image is going to go on the bottom half with the greeting up top. All of the other cards feature the image up at the top with the greeting underneath. I really felt like for this card, this worked a little bit better to give more of that water type of feel for the otters. And the bubbles can kind of come up from them that way, divided by the greeting. So super cute. This is the image that if you wanted to, you could add the Santa hat to one of them if you wanted to make this more of a Christmas design rather than a friendship type of card. That would be really easy to do. Use the blues to add a little color to the water bubbles. Plus, I'm going to use the blue colors to give that illusion of water down there near the bottom with the otters. Adds quite a bit of interest to the design. Nice little pop of color. Again, helps ground it. When I got this all colored, I really felt like I needed just a little pop of color somewhere on the design. So I took the little heart image from the stamp set and I will stamp that right there at the end of the greeting. I did take the wink of Stella Clear glitter brush pen to the bubbles and some glossy accents. Added little white dots to the cheeks on the otters, black pen for the noses. Added a little dot detail with a Copic marker to give some texture to the otters. And then I'm going to take Nuvo crystal drops in Sea Breeze, Caribbean Ocean, I think maybe just those two colors, and add little droplets all over that really kind of just go with the bubbles type of images. You could even use some simply white here if you wanted to. The Sea Breeze is a nice translucent blue and Caribbean Ocean is an opaque blue. Here's that little heart colored in with some red Copic markers. I'll finish it with a layer of glossy accents. And my cards are all finished. Thanks for joining me for this exclusive stamp set for Simon Says Stamp featuring Lawn Fawn for Cyber Week 2017. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more cards featuring Simon Says Stamp and Lawn Fawn that you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.